Hey everybody. So this is what we're going to be using for our garland base. So this is 9 feet long. It can go to a width of 12 inches. So we're going to be using this. I'm going to be using some 21-inch mesh and some 10-inch mesh. We're going to be using some pine cones. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use the white and black or the ivory and black ribbon. I definitely am going to be using this gingham check. And I've got this vision. And somebody mentioned that they didn't know how to use these rails. So I'm like, what the heck? Hey, Gloria. How's North Carolina tonight, girl? Okay, so to get started, I'm going to move some of these things out of our way. And then off camera, right off camera, I also have some vines. I have some floral greenery and all kinds of fun stuff. So I had to actually clear off my craft table because this is 9 feet long. So to make a garland, it takes up my entire space. So let's get going on this. And I'm going to set these off to the side. Okay. All right, so as I said, this actually is a 9-foot piece of garland. And we don't need that tag. I tried to do as much as I could ahead of time, which wasn't much because I didn't want you guys to miss out on the important things. So this actually unfolds into a 9-foot piece. It's on a very pliable wire. I'm watching the other end of my table. And it will be hanging off the side, trust me. All right, so this is it unfolded so far. And even then, I can't get the entire thing unfolded. So this is just folded in half right now so I could show you the whole picture. But I'm gonna go ahead and drop an end off on the floor. And we're gonna start by just opening up our twist ties. And I'm probably not gonna do the entire thing. I'll probably do this one half at a time. As far as I can reach, or as far as it'll reach on the edge of my table. Now, what's fun is you can do this a couple of different ways, but for this design, I'm actually going to take some 21-inch mesh and I'm going to start by cutting off my ends so it's an even cut here. Okay. So I'm going to start by folding this over and using some of our mesh and just make a poof. I typically go from left to right, but because of the way the length of this, I'm going to go backwards. And we're just going to start adding a poof. And we're going to go down. I'm not going to make really huge poofs because we're going to be adding some 10-inch here as well. This is going to be a pretty lengthy project. All right, so this is some cotton drift mesh. And we're going to take some of it and And I'm going to lay this down here for a moment. And we're going to cut some 15-inch strips. Okay, so I first need to make the decision on, am I going to do a ruffle, a cruffle? I kind of like that better, so let's do that. So we're going to put one of those in each one of the twist ties. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 twist ties. Okay, we made it to the end, yay! Now, here's where the fun part comes in. Not that that wasn't fun already. So, let me bring this back up here. At this particular point, I'm gonna measure my ends. So poof to poof down here, right? So I've got these two ends together, and I'm gonna pull that and find my center point. So here is my center point of my garland. So I need to know that for my focal point. So I need to mark that with something here. Something that's gonna hold on. Let's just put a zip tie right there. And that way I will know that is the center point. My zip tie is all curly cute here. All right, so I've got that marked. All right, so this is a vine fall leaf. So it has actually a wired plastic vine covered by real vine. And so the center point for it is right about where this bend is. So now I'm going to take that and I'm going to attach it to our center point here. All right, so I zip tied this here in the center, but I'm not going to attach it anywhere else yet because we are yeah, I can. I'm going to attach it in a couple of places, I think. Down here. Using my garland. Perfect. And about in the same spot down here. And I'm kind of going under the vine. I'm only going around the wired part of this vine with the leaves on it, just because I don't want to suck that garland down in there. All right, so we have several options and several things to work with. Um, I do want to let you know that I did take some pine cones and I attached wires to them, except this one, so I could show you how I did it. And so I just cut a length of wire. I think for the smaller cones, I did like 10, 12 inches. This one's gonna be a little bit larger. And so I'm wrapping that wire in between the petals on the cone. And then giving that a good twist. So now I can attach my pine cones to whatever I like. I do use a heavier wire for this. This is a 22 gauge wire, but now we can attach these pine cones into our design. So that was one thing that I did ahead of time. But we're actually going to be adding some of these fun pumpkins. I love, 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 love. I also have a large white pumpkin, and we're going to be adding some bows, some ribbon. So the only thing I wasn't sure about was whether I wanted to use the black and white or the black and ivory. I could go either way. I could go either way. We're going to use the black and ivory. Or excuse me, the black and white. So, hold on. And I'm just going to scoop this kind of back out of her way for a moment. It's like wrestling a greased pig, I think. I'm going to attach this with a zip tie, so let me slide that guy in there first. And we're actually going to be using our pumpkin in the center of this, so I'm not going to be too worried about what the center of my bow looks like. And we'll be needing that. But we're going to take this zip tie and we're going to go right here in the center. Let me cut off this part of it. And go right around that vine. Since we already know where our center point is on here. And attach that. Look at that pop of color, that plaid next to our fall colors. Who does not love that? I know it's not for everybody, and I get that, but so many people enjoy that kind of look. And it's more my style. One thing about using zip ties on your bows is you can get such a nice tighter grip. Okay. All right, let me take off that zip tie. So our pumpkin is going to go right above our bow, right about in there, and then I'll work the bow around it here. So I still have my garland frame back here, and I can get rid of my marker now. So I've still got my garland to latch onto, and I positioned my bow a little bit lower so that it left room for my pumpkin. So let's attach our pumpkin. And for this guy, can y'all tell I'm like trying to keep this from falling all the way over on the floor? It's like wrestling a freaking greased pig. So for this, I'm going to use a couple of these leftover stems from Florals. And we're going to do a couple of different holes. See if I can get some starter holes here. There we go. Much better. Add a little spot of glue. All right, so while that is setting up, we're going to open up some of these pumpkins, get them laid out. These actually, Maker's Halloween, is that Joann's? I believe it is. I would have gotten last year at end of season, and they're Halloween. Well, they were in the Halloween part. But today, they are fall. Another thing, too, that I can be doing is we're going to be needing several more ribbons, several more bows, pardon me. And these are just going to be simply a simple bow. While that's drying, and do one more bow since we still need 3 more. All right, so now that we have the focal point kind of centered and mastered here, centered is the key word. Love it. Love it. So I'm going to go down and I have to kind of measure here. So I don't know if you guys can see me, but I'm going down, I'm skipping 1, 2, 3 of the twist ties, and I'm gonna go, actually I'm gonna go three down. And I'm gonna take one of our bows, and I wanna make sure I count these correctly, because there's 1, 2, 3, so actually the fourth one down. And we're gonna add a bow right in here. Now remember, this is gonna be hung out. It won't be curled up like this. So I'm gonna bring this with the tails inward, and then I'm gonna come back and cut my tails so that they're all even later. Now I'm gonna take a bow the same on the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3. The fourth twist tie, or the fourth tinsel tie down. And we're gonna add another bow. 7 a.m. is ungodly for me. Kim, you crack me up. Monday and Tuesday, 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. Off Wednesday and Thursday, 10 hours. No, could not do that. Girl. And that is why I don't do factory work. I can't do swing shift. I couldn't even as a nurse. And I definitely could not do night shift. I would do it on very rare occasion until I forgot what it was like, or until I did one and then I remembered what it was like, and then I would go, no, not again, and I'd go another 2 years and never do a night shift. Okay, so I'm counting, I'm using the twist ties as my guideline. So we did here on 4. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And we're gonna add a bow down here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one thing nice about the garland that the pine garlands do not have, is you can use the tinsel ties that are on this garland as measurement tools. So when you're working with an evergreen garland, or when I am anyway, measuring it is a little more challenging. It can be done. All right, so we're gonna go the opposite end. Count down 1, 2, 3, 4, and put our bow here. And I clearly have a lot of trimming to do on the back side. Now we're going to take some of these pumpkins and we're going to start going in between with some of our pumpkins. So I'm going to try and do, let's see, these two are the same size. These two are about the same size. Actually, these 3, and then these 3 smaller ones. So I think I'm going to do the smaller ones up here. I need a new skewer because I used that one in the crock pot or in the glue pot. So we're just going to add, I just had it, there it is. We're going to start adding some, and this one's going to face this direction. So I'm actually taking, and I'll show you a little bit closer this time. When I'm putting that pilot hole in there, there we go. I'm actually going in my pumpkin at an angle. So, like if I want my pumpkin to sit off to the side like this, I'm taking my skewer and I'm going in at an angle so that when I add my wire, it's also at an angle. So I'm kind of going in at an angle here. I always do a pilot hole. It's just so much easier than trying to dig with my wire stems here. And it just goes right in once I put that pilot hole. So this one is going to go. Those two are there. That one's there and here. Okay. Okay, that one popped. This is what I save up for all year around. Is stuff like this. I keep these stinking wires. Those little pieces. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tune on my glue gun because I may need it for this. So I'm going to add this right into our design. Make sure I put plenty of glue on there. My glue is just a little thin, so I'm going to turn that down a little bit. And I'm going to go kind of off to the side here. And this one, no, is that the right one? Yes, it is. So I have them just kind of random. It's not a rhyme or reason. I don't have them exactly apart, and I'm okay with that. This one's going to go right in between here somewhere. Can you kind of get a grip of what this is looking like? So I'm going to take some of my pine cones now and integrate those in here, definitely on the ends, because down here where we don't have a lot of color going on, so I want to add some more elements down here. And since I've got the wires already attached, I'm going to use those to get started. And I'm actually okay with that. So we'll add one there. So I made 5 of our pine cones. And that guy's not going anywhere. Now, if you guys decide that you want to do a garland, really there is no limit. If you didn't want to use the pumpkins, if you didn't want to use the leaves, you could use floral you know, mums or fall, like the fall sunflowers, you know, the cream colored sunflowers. Or if you wanted to do, I mean, just think of what your imagination can come up with on a color scheme. So it's the concept that I want to help you understand, that, you know, to start with a base, just like a wreath frame, you know, you're going to start with a base, you're going to start adding elements and then get creative with that. And it's just like anything else too. You got to choose your color schemes, match up your ribbon, right? All right, I actually brought out some of this pomegranate because I wondered about color in here. Hang on, since this one's closer. If that would need a pop of color. And it's hard to see. I know you can't see the whole thing, so I'm trying to focus more on the ends here because I feel like the ends are a little bland, but they're not. Yeah. So, hang on. 1, 2, 2. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 of those. Okay, so my bows, I'm going to cut back a little. I don't want them to be too, I just want them to be an accent. I don't know. I don't want large tails on them. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm actually going to take this and attach it to my mantle to take photos, and cut my bows down to the right length. I definitely like this length much better than the longer length, and they may go shorter yet. You just never know. But you get to a point where I'm at right now where I need to take a step back. But look, let's spread it out a little. Let's see if we can get this on camera as much as possible. And here's what I'll do, as I'll start down on one end. So this is one end. And it comes up, 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 center point. This needs to be attached right there. It's misbehaving. Look at all that funness, right? You know what I think might help is adding a couple of these pumpkins down towards the end. So let me get this attached to an area where I can step back and see the whole thing. And I may add those, but the concept, the whole idea of how to put this together, hopefully it's not so scary now. Really, when you see somebody break one down, and everybody does things differently, I even do garlands differently. So if I'm using a evergreen garland, it's going to look different yet, but the concept is still the same on how to layer and put it all together. So hopefully that wasn't too bad, 1 hour and 14. And I will get this attached and see if I'm gonna see what else I may or may not add to it, and then we'll get some photos up. I think it's gonna look stunning, quite honestly. Quite honestly, I think it is. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you learned a couple of little nuggets tonight, and I will get them. Have a great night. See you soon.